Ethan Marshall's night began like many others for tourists in London, full of excitement and a few drinks at a Soho pub. But as the beers piled up, so did his bravado. With his friends Ryan and Mike by his side, Ethan's judgment drowned in whiskey, and what started as a casual evening spiraled into a reckless disaster. Stumbling into Buckingham Palace Square, their laughter echoed louder than their common sense. Ryan pointed at the royal guards, marveling at their stillness, while Mike, phone in hand, dared Ethan to test them. Ethan, his head buzzing and his smirk half-cocked, saw not a symbol of tradition, but a challenge to conquer. "What if I touched the rifle? Just for a second," he slurred, grinning as his friends roared with laughter. Ignoring the crowd's growing attention, he staggered toward the barricade, his hand outstretched, oblivious to the gravity of his actions. It was a classic case of alcohol-fueled overconfidence. Too many drinks stripping away caution, leaving only a foolish impulse to show off. Little did Ethan know, this drunken dare would soon catapult him from a carefree tourist to a global punchline, proving that bad decisions and booze are a recipe for regret. Ethan Marshall's drunken bravado met its match the moment he reached for the Royal Guard's rifle. Standing like a statue under Buckingham Palace's golden glow, the guard embodied centuries of British discipline, unshaken, unflinching, a living testament to tradition. Ethan, fueled by whiskey and egged on by his laughing friends, saw only a game, not the gravity of his actions. As his fingers hovered inches from the rifle, the air shifted. A thunderous thump rang out as the guard's boot slammed the pavement, a sound that pierced the night like a gunshot. Then came the voice, "Stand back," a command so forceful it seemed to ripple through the square, silencing the crowd and freezing Ethan in his tracks. His cocky grin vanished, replaced by wide-eyed terror as the guard took a single deliberate step forward. Rigid posture, rifle gripped tight, the soldier didn't need to raise a fist or weapon. His presence alone was a wall of authority. 400 years of military precision pulsed through that one movement, a stark reminder that these guards aren't mere ornaments, but trained professionals who don't tolerate foolishness. Ethan's drunken haze evaporated, his heart pounding as he realized he'd crossed a line he couldn't uncross. The guard's second step, faster, stronger, sent Ethan reeling backward, his own feet betraying him as he crashed to the ground. No physical blow was needed. The guard's sheer power of command had already floored him. To the crowd, it was comedy gold. He got dropped without even being touched. But to Ethan, it was a humbling reckoning. The Royal Guard's immediate and powerful response didn't just stop Ethan's stunt. It shattered his illusion of invincibility, proving that some boundaries, backed by centuries of resolve, demand respect no amount of alcohol can override. Ethan Marshall's ill-fated attempt to touch a Royal Guard's rifle didn't just end with a fall. It ignited a firestorm of instant public embarrassment that swallowed him whole. As he stumbled toward the barricade at Buckingham Palace, the crowd, tourists snapping photos, teenagers filming, and older Brits shaking their heads, shifted from casual curiosity to rapt attention. His friends, Ryan and Mike, howled with laughter, their phones capturing every second of his whiskey-soaked bravado, while whispers rippled through the onlookers. "This guy's about to do something dumb." An older man muttered to his wife, "Another idiot who'll never learn," his tone dripping with weary disdain. Ethan, oblivious in his drunken haze, reached out, fingers trembling inches from the rifle, when the guard's booming "Stand back" shattered the night. The crowd gasped as Ethan's bravado crumbled. He flinched, stumbled, and in a glorious slow-motion collapse, tripped over the curb and slammed onto the pavement, arms flailing like a rag doll. Laughter erupted like a wave, drowning out his dignity. Phones zoomed in, flashes popped, and voices rang out in delight. "Oh my God, he just got yelled at." A man wheezed, while a teenage girl giggled to her friend, "Bro, he flinched so hard." Even a little kid clapped and squealed, "Mommy, look! The soldier's scary!" Ethan's face burned as he lay sprawled on the cold ground, the cocky smirk wiped clean, replaced by a mix of shock and shame. His friends, still recording, couldn't contain themselves. Ryan taunted, "Dude, you look terrified," while Mike gasped, "I can't breathe, he's about to cry." The crowd's reaction wasn't just amusement, it was a collective roasting, a shared revelry in his failure. Every chuckle, every pointed finger, every zoomed-in lens piled onto the humiliation, transforming a fleeting moment of stupidity into a public spectacle. Ethan wanted to vanish, to melt into the pavement and escape the eyes boring into him. But there was no hiding. This wasn't just a personal blunder, it was a historic flop. Broadcast live by a sea of strangers who'd turned his drunken misstep into their entertainment. In that square, under the palace's glow, Ethan learned the hard way. Cross a line, and the crowd will make sure you pay with your pride. Ethan Marshall's drunken stumble at Buckingham Palace didn't end with his fall. It took a sharper turn when two Metropolitan Police officers stepped into the chaos, their boots echoing a grim reality check. As Ethan lay sprawled on the pavement, still reeling from the Royal Guard's thunderous rebuke, the crowd's laughter faded into a tense hush. The guard had already returned to his stoic post, rifle in hand, as if Ethan were a fleeting annoyance not worth a second glance. But the police weren't so dismissive. Emerging from the shadows of the square, the first officer, a tall, broad figure with sharp eyes and a sigh of exasperation, loomed over Ethan, his gaze flicking between the fallen tourist and the unbothered guard. "Fallen, have we?" he muttered, his tone dry as desert sand, while his partner, arms crossed, surveyed the scene with a weary, "All right, what do we have this time?" Ethan scrambled to his feet, hands raised in a shaky plea. "Wait, it was just a joke. I wasn't actually—" The first officer cut him off with a raised hand. "Save it. Stand up properly now." His voice firm, brooking no argument. Ethan obeyed, his bravado long gone as the crowd whispered and filmed, their phones still hungry for more. The officer tilted his head, eyes narrowing. "You do realize attempting to touch or interfere with a royal guard is a serious offense, yeah?" Ethan's stomach twisted. He hadn't considered consequences beyond a laugh, but now the weight of potential charges sank in. The second officer studied him, arms still folded, as if weighing his fate. "So, what do we think? Charge him or let him go?" Ethan's blood ran cold, the word charge ringing in his ears like a gavel. After an agonizing pause, the first officer scratched his chin and smirked faintly. "Nah, I think he's suffered enough." Relief flooded Ethan, but it was short-lived. The officer stepped closer, voice low and menacing. "If I see you near another guard tonight, you won't walk away next time. Understood?" Ethan nodded frantically. "Yes, sir, I'm gone," and bolted, the crowd's mocking claps chasing him. The police had turned a humiliating blunder into a stark lesson. This wasn't just a prank gone wrong. It was a brush with real trouble. Ethan Marshall's drunken misadventure at Buckingham Palace didn't fade into the London night. It exploded into a wildfire of viral fame and relentless online ridicule. As he fled the square, the crowd's laughter still ringing in his ears, Ethan had no idea the real punishment was just beginning. By the time he slammed his hotel room door shut, his phone buzzed like a beehive, hundreds of notifications flooding in. He unlocked the screen and froze. A TikTok alert screamed, "Your mention in @UK Fails video has 1.2 million views." His stomach flipped as he scrolled through Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit, each platform plastered with the same clip. Him lurching toward the royal guard, freezing in terror, and crashing to the pavement. The internet didn't hold back. Comments stung like hornets. Bro tried to rob a British soldier and got bodied by thin air. My guy thought he was in GTA. Imagine getting defeated by a man who didn't even move his feet. Ethan's soul shriveled as the memes rolled in. His terrified face photoshopped onto the "This is fine" dog surrounded by flames, a side-by-side of his fall next to a toddler tripping, captioned "Same energy," even a FIFA edit with a commentator yelling, "He's down! Absolute disaster for the lad." News outlets picked it up, and late-night TV piled on. Jimmy Fallon grinned, "Here's Exhibit A, why you don't mess with British soldiers," while Trevor Noah quipped, "Imagine thinking you're winning a fight, then tripping over your own stupidity." Ethan buried his face in his hands, his friends' laughter, Ryan's, "You're famous now," and Mike's, "Not the way you wanted, though," echoing in the background. The video wasn't just a moment, it was a global event, racking up millions of views and turning him into a punchline. His phone rang, his mom, incredulous, "Ethan, you're trending on Facebook. Grandma thinks you're being deported." His dad chuckled faintly, "Lost a fight to a guy who didn't move." Ethan groaned, wishing he could vanish. The internet had seized his blunder, chewed it up, and spat it out as a relentless roast, proving that in 2025, one dumb move doesn't just haunt you, it immortalizes you as the fool who dared, and spectacularly failed, to challenge a guard. Ethan Marshall's drunken attempt to touch a Royal Guard's rifle didn't just end with a bruised ego, it unleashed a cascade of real-life fallout that rocked his world. As he retreated to his hotel room, the glow of his phone screen became a cruel spotlight on his unraveling life. The viral video, already at 1.2 million views on TikTok, had reached far beyond the laughing crowd at Buckingham Palace. His phone rang, his mom's voice cut through. "Ethan, what the hell am I looking at? You're trending on Facebook." Her tone was a mix of shock and dismay, and then came the kicker. "Grandma saw it. She called me asking if you're being deported." Ethan winced, closing his eyes as the family shame sank in. His dad's voice crackled in the background, barely hiding a laugh. "So, you lost a fight to a guy who didn't even move, huh?" The teasing stung, but it was nothing compared to the next blow. A new email popped up, subject line stark. "Ethan, we need to talk." It was from his boss. His heart sank as he read, "I assume you've seen the video by now, so have a lot of our clients. Give me a call. We need to discuss the company's reputation." Ethan's stomach churned. This wasn't just embarrassment anymore. It was a threat to his job, his career, his entire livelihood. What he'd dismissed as a drunken prank had morphed into a PR nightmare, with clients likely questioning his judgment. Back home, his mom called again, leaving a voicemail. "Ethan, Grandma's worried. It's on the news now." His dad texted, "Your uncle says you're famous, just not for the right reasons," the words twisting the knife deeper. Ethan groaned, the weight of it all crushing him. One stupid moment, egged on by friends and fueled by whiskey, had spiraled into a personal and professional disaster. Family disappointment gnawed at him, but the looming Monday meeting with his boss loomed larger, a ticking clock on his future. The Royal Guard stood forgotten, a silent victor, while Ethan faced consequences he'd never imagined. A fractured reputation, a mortified family, and a career teetering on the edge, all because he thought a rifle was fair game for a laugh. Ethan Marshall's fleeting clash with the Royal Guard left an indelible mark, not on the Guard, but on the unforgiving expanse of the internet. Back at Buckingham Palace, the Guard stood tall, rifle in position, face emotionless, a pillar of unshaken tradition. To him, Ethan was a blip, a drunken fool not worth a second thought. He'd reset to his post as if nothing happened, his 400-year legacy undisturbed. But while the Guard moved on, the internet latched tight and never let go. Ethan's stumble, captured in viral glory, exploded across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, racking up 1.2 million views and counting. Memes multiplied: his terrified face on a burning dog, his fall beside a toddler, even a FIFA commentary mocking his crash. Late-night hosts like Jimmy Fallon and Trevor Noah turned him into a punchline, their audiences roaring as the clip replayed worldwide. Ethan sat in his hotel, phone buzzing with notifications, a prisoner of digital infamy. The guard's indifference was a stark contrast to the internet's relentless memory. Where he remained a nobody to the soldier, he became an eternal jester online, proving that in today's world, one mistake lives forever, even if its target forgets. Ethan Marshall's story offers timeless lessons that hit home as we age. First, it's a stark reminder that reckless choices, especially under the influence, can unravel a life in moments. What started as a drunken dare at Buckingham Palace spiraled into public shame, family worry, and a jeopardized career. For us, it's a nudge to weigh our actions, knowing a single misstep can ripple far beyond our control. Second, the Royal Guard's calm authority teaches the power of quiet strength, standing firm in duty, unmoved by chaos, a trait worth emulating as we navigate life's disruptions. Finally, the Internet's relentless memory warns us of today's world. Unlike our youth, when mistakes faded with time, now they're etched online forever. For those of us over 50, this urges caution, not just for ourselves, but in guiding younger generations. Ethan's tale isn't just a laugh. It's a mirror reflecting the value of restraint, the dignity of discipline, and the permanence of consequences. In our later years, let's choose wisdom over impulse, leaving legacies of grace, not regret, in a world that never forgets.